Okay. So the
It's
recording
okay.
has
Just go
started
on.
now. Okay. So the recording has started now. And then yeah, like I was saying, Emmanuel asked me to talk about this, and for me, it's something I always like to share for people that follow me on like social media, Instagram, Twitter. I always put out things around how I started in this my data journey. Tips I think can help people that are also coming into this career path. Um, yeah, and I think I gave something similar to this presentation last year. So when I was putting together the slides this morning, it was just me editing some things because obviously a lot has changed from last year when I gave the presentation at the company to now. So like I said, if you have questions, just note them down. We'll definitely have time to address a lot of questions afterwards. I just have about 12 slides to get through. Um, yeah, so just pulse check. I was asking before, how's everyone doing today? When I ask questions, you don't have to mute your mic. You just type it in the chat. Yeah. So are you feeling good? Are you feeling bad? Did something happen at home? Yeah. So just the pulse check. Okay. Gbemisela says she's good. Oguntara says enthusiastic. Abdullahi said he's doing good. Sukwasi said it's good. So I guess everybody's fine. So yeah. Oh, Whitney said feeling cold. Really sorry about that. Hope you're under like your duvet or blanket, right? Really sorry. Favor said she's excited about this. I am too. Choma says she's doing great. Okay. So it's good to know that everyone is doing fine. I'm really excited about this as well. Like I said, I like to share about my journey because I like to see everyone win and come into this path, right? So just a little bit about myself. So I'm currently a data analyst with a company called Sobeys here in Canada. Okay, like I said, please put yourself on mute, please. Um, yeah, so I'm currently a data analyst with a company called Sobeys in Canada. It's an it's a retail organization, the second largest in Canada. Just the same way you have ShopRite all around Lagos, it's something similar. But as at 2 years ago, they decided to go into e-commerce, where people order their groceries online and then we deliver it to them. And they launched a site called voila.ca, and that's the arm of Sobeys that I currently work under as a data analyst. Honestly, I had not done anything close to e-commerce before. The highest I knew was that you buy stuff online and people and they deliver to you, right? So for me, working behind the scenes and seeing how things work in terms of the process for the product to get to the customer, it's really been interesting. I hope I get to talk more about that. But yeah, prior to becoming a data analyst, as many would know, or if you don't know, I was an engineer back in Nigeria. So I studied engineering for my first and second degree, chemical and petroleum, to be precise. And then I started my career out in about 2017. It was 2016 December, but I just say 2017. Um, yeah, so I started because I wanted to go into oil and gas because back then when I was obviously I'm still growing, right? 2009 when I entered university, oil and gas was like the big thing then, right? Just the same way we have tech now being the hit thing, right? And I attended a session just similar to what we're doing now. A lady called Anita Mole, she came to talk about our career in oil and gas. She showed us a gold card where she had like, I don't know, like a lot of money on it, right? And I was like, no, I have to get into this career part. So that was what it was for me. So when I picked my jam form in 2008, 2009 to fill, I chose, I think I chose petroleum at first or petrochemical, something like that, because I was like, okay, oil and gas, let me see what's in it for me, right? My dad was opposed to it. He told me to go and take the jam form and fill it again, that I wanted me to study medicine, but I'm a very stubborn person, honestly. So yeah, I ended up in engineering just because I wanted to make a lot of money. Luckily, after I finished my master's in 2016, I got a job working offshore, did that for about 8 months. Then I got my next role as a project engineer slash coordinator with General Electric. Um, I was there for about a year. Worked in Nigeria, worked in South Africa, and then I came back home to Nigeria and got a job as a process engineer with Seplat Petroleum. It's now Seplat Energy, but for me, it was a really interesting path. I'll obviously go through all of that. It was until 2020, yeah, that was when I got my PR to come to Canada, and yeah, I wasn't going to do engineering anymore when I came here. So that's like the summary of the story. We'll go into details. So yeah, like I said, I've worked in different companies across several industries, manufacturing, oil and gas. I've worked in customer service as well. I think Geotab was also in manufacturing telecom space. And now I'm in e-commerce. Really, really interesting. And what else do I do? I lead an online community called Data Tech Space. I started that in 2000 and I started out in December 2020, and it was just a way to bring people together that were on the same data journey, right? Because I was also learning as well, and I felt that there was this lack of community where people come together to share ideas, walk through their problems that they were facing when they were coding or developing dashboards, stuff like that. And then what else? So I do that in my spare time. I also like to write. I like to write stories about data, like from analysis, and also talk a bit about my personal life. I used to have a blog before, but I stopped writing. And then also I like to watch sports. I'm a Real Madrid fan. We're playing in Champions League next weekend, 28th. Yeah, next Saturday. Mm, okay. And then I also like to read in my spare time, and I like to listen to music. What else? I like to help people. As I said, I'm very passionate about seeing every other person win, right? I just feel you can't get to the top and just keep everybody below you. Everybody has the capacity to make what's best for themselves in life. And I also said, yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. Please, I'm not here to tell you aspire to perspire. I like to speak facts. For people that know me personally, I'm not someone that likes to like hide behind the truth. I'll tell you what it is. I don't know how to mince words. I don't know if that's a flaw, but yeah, I don't know how to sugarcoat things. So if anything I say hurts you today, please apologize in advance. But yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm just here to share my journey, and I just like to be practical about certain things. So yeah, that's a bit about me. Oh, I did not edit this part, but basically we've done the introduction, and then I'll take you through my journey, through my story. I love putting these slides together, and I hope you like it too. So, but briefly, like I said, it's not just going to be me doing the talking. I just want to know what your career goals are. So I'm sharing my own career story. My career story is still evolving. There's still a lot in store for me, but I just want to know, what do you think? I'm not saying where do you want to be in 5 years, but what's your career goal? You want to be a data analyst? Do you want to be a software engineer? Do you want to be a machine learning engineer? Do you want to be the CEO of a company one day? Do you want to start your own firm? I just want to see what your career goals are. Just something very short and simple. You can type it in the chat. Yeah. Mhm.
Jessica,
Yeah.
there's someone's hand raised, Victor Ekong. I don't know if he has something to say.
We'll ask questions afterwards. I don't like to lose the flow, right? So I don't digress. But Victor, like
Okay.
if you have a question, you can. I don't know if I tell him to type it in the chat, so I might lose it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. If it's like an issue where you can't hear me, just let me know. But if it's a question, don't worry, we'll definitely answer your question.
Yeah, just note it down somewhere, Victor.
Oh, nice. I like what I'm saying. So I'm saying, let me see. I'm seeing, oh, but the chat is just moving very fast. Obasi says something around data and business intelligence. And then he or she said cloud computing later on. Nice. Shegun stays financial analyst. Chidima says that data analyst. Okwemi says data and financial analyst. Okay. Cynthia says data analyst. Okay, we have a lot of people in my current career path as now. That's nice. Martha says data scientist. Oluyinka says data engineer, AI engineer. I love what I'm seeing here. So Tony, I like Tony is really specific. Tony says he says it's customer service data analysis, right? So they're customer insights analyst, and that's a really interesting field, I assure you. Um, there is Trauma that says data analyst as well, data scientist, ML engineer. Thank you for your answers. Tracy says product manager, project manager. I love that. Um, Ajani says data scientist, Juliet says data analyst. So it's all around still tech related, right? So I love that. And honestly, if you had asked this question to me or to like my class of 2014, most people would have said they wanted to be in oil and gas, do something in petroleum engineering, because that's where the money was, or where people thought the money was. I don't know. Tech was there, but like it wasn't as prominent as it is now, right? So it's really interesting how things change over time. Who knows if another industry springs up and we all try to run there later on. But I don't know. I think tech is here to stay because it has really changed the way our lives have evolved over the years. So I'll just continue. Thank you so much for participating in that, for everybody that gave their answers. Yeah, but one thing I want to say, like I said, I don't like to mince words, right? A lot of us have our goals, a lot of us have what we want to do in the future, where we want to be, right? But I was reading something. Can we put our mics on mute, please? I was reading something. Just a sec. See me a sec. Okay. I was reading something when I was preparing this. I just wanted to see like if there was a study ever done about people achieving their career goals, right? Then I saw this was just if you just Google percentage of people that achieve their goals, you would see this number I'm putting out here. Um, it was a study done by University of Scranton, and it made me think of the office, right? Because that was where it was filmed. But anyways, it basically said that 8% of people, only 8% of people end up achieving their goals, right? So it said 90% of people do not. But I didn't put this here to discourage you. It's just the fact that a lot of people have where they aspire to be. I can tell you, even when I started my data journey, I had a lot of people that we're also on the same path with me. And I'm not trying to boast, but not all of them are where I am now, or I've gotten to where they thought they would be, right, on their own journey. So it just differs for people. A lot of things may have come in their way that may have hindered them, right? But it's for me, this is not to discourage you. I would say like if you're saying something like this, then it's probably should give you more motivation that you probably need to stay focused on where you want to be, right? Um yeah. So definitely not to discourage you. We all have what we want to do. People say they want to be data analysts, they want to be data scientists, they want to be in AI, machine learning. These are all very interesting fields. Product management, very interesting fields. But obviously for you to get to that point or to the peak of your career, there are certain things that you have to do to get there. And I hope while I share my journey today, it would help everyone trying to do the same as well. So at the beginning of the slide, the first slide, if anyone noticed, when I said my data career, underneath I said something like stay in the process, your goals are valid. Um, I read a book called Staying in the Process while I was in university. I honestly cannot remember everything in that book, but that title has always stayed with me. Because anytime you set out to do something, to be honest, there's always going to be hindrances, right? But the first hindrance is you starting. You just saying, okay, I want to be a data analyst. I need to start somewhere. I need to join side also internship and apply. I need to go and do this course. I need to go and do that. That's the first step. Once you break that hindrance, there are others that will come, but I think that's like the biggest one to break, right? And that's why I said, Sure, that everything starts from somewhere. You coming to this meeting today started from you deciding that, okay, we need to set a reminder for this time and join the meeting, right? Um, Wherever we are now, we started some years ago. I didn't just grow up to be this person I am today. I was born many years ago, 27 years now, I think. And I don't think I know. And yeah, obviously where I am today, right? And another thing I also want to say is nobody's an overnight success. I see people doing a lot of good stuff today that you aspire to be. They didn't just come out and become who they were, right? So that's why for me, I love documenting my journey. Like on my Twitter, you see when I started the first project I built, how it probably did not gain traction until I started doing more. So again, anybody that goes there will see that, oh, I didn't just magically become a data analyst I am today, or whatever you think or see me to be, right? It all started somewhere. Another thing I also want to say is everything adds up eventually. Just like you say, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. In the same way, any small step you take towards a certain direction adds up eventually. If it's in the wrong direction, that you're taking the steps, you end up there. If it's in the right one, you end up in the right place. So I just need to say that before I start. And then yeah, we'll just go through my journey. I probably just have like 10 minutes for this part. So yeah, for each, I think I have like 3 slides of this, just walking through my timeline. And then each one has a caption that I just thought of. The first thing is just starting somewhere, like I said, right? Nobody was built in a day. You have to start somewhere. And for me, where I started was, I think it started from LinkedIn. And this was 2018. 2018, I was still working in General Electric as a project person, project coordinator or something. I had a couple of people that I'd known from my engineering days when I did masters, went abroad to study for their masters, right? And there was this person, what's his name? Emmanuel Ikei. When I wrote my story on Twitter about it, I mentioned him. Emmanuel studied petroleum engineering for both his first and second degrees. But I was surprised when one day I saw a post on LinkedIn from Emmanuel, and then it was like, oh, he got a job as a data analyst with, I think he was working with a gaming company, right? And I was like, this one was studying petroleum engineering in Imperial College. I'm like, why exactly this career path, right? So it kind of piqued my interest, like, what exactly is this a possible career path? So I don't know if I was monitoring his progress, but I was doing something like that. And I think afterwards, I think after like 2 years or 1.5 years, he started working with EA Sports, the people that make your FIFA games and all of that. And he became a data engineer. So I was like, okay, this is really something. So I just started looking up things like what do these people really do, right? And I think for me, it wasn't so far from what I was doing in my role then. So as at 2019, 2020, I was already in Seplat. A lot of what I was doing would be I was doing engineering using my AutoCAD to design plans. But some of the other ad hoc activities I would do would involve creating like Excel sheets to monitor progress. I love working with numbers a lot. And then building Power BI dashboards because we had like the MS365 then. So it wasn't really far from what I was doing, but obviously wasn't doing it like as a day-to-day thing. It was just something I would do once in a while if a manager should ask me and all of that. So as at April 2020, I think then I'd gotten my PR to come to Canada, right? So I was thinking of, okay, what were the possible career paths? I could have done engineering here, but it was going to take me writing a lot of exams. And personally, I don't like stress. So I was like, this is something I can decide to do. And then also try to look out to see what kind of job opportunities there were, right? And there were definitely a lot. And I tell you now, I don't know about Nigeria, honestly. So I'm just speaking from here. There's no day you go on LinkedIn, type data analyst, they're always like almost 15, 20 15 euros that come up for that related to data in a day, right? So the career path was there, or the job opportunities were there. It was just a matter of me learning the skills I needed to learn. So Python was something that was obviously very common, and people said, oh, it was going to be cool. So I took my first Python course. It was by this guy Mosh, coding with Mosh Amani, I think that's the name. And honestly, that course was for people that were going to use Python for web development. So I think I can't remember what we were using, but it wasn't Jupyter Notebook. It was I can't remember. I think it was like high Python where like you don't even see the result of your code or something. I can't remember. But after a while I just lost interest in it, to be honest. And I was like, "Nah, maybe this is not for me." I stopped it. And then when I moved here, when I moved here in August of 2020, I was still working with Seplat. It was remote then, so I could still cope with like the times difference and stuff like that. I decided that okay, I wanted to find a structured path for me to learn, right? So someone suggested, okay, there's this IBM course that you can take. I didn't know. I just when I googled IBM data blah 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 on Coursera, I saw this data science one. To be honest, there was a data analyst one, but I didn't even know then. So I took the data science one, and it was really structured, and I paid for it. I shouldn't have paid for it because I probably needed financial aid, but I did not know that you could get financial aid. So I paid for it, and I think me paying for it, I think I was paying like $50 a month. So me paying for it gingered me to actually finish the course fast. Coursera will tell you you use 10 months to finish a course. I think I did mine in September, October, November, in 3 months. So what I was doing was October, I think September, I quit my separate job. I got a new job here as a technical support specialist. And then I opted to work 4 days a week. So I had 3 days off. So those 3 days, I wasn't doing anything. I would do my normal chores, cook and all of that, and then I'll focus on the IBM course. Did that for 3 months, then we come here, I published my first project afterward. So these courses have like specializations, right? Um, I went on, published my first project. It was really interesting because they told us, oh, the capstone was you should work around with data around a particular location. It should be focused on any city of your choice. Just think of a topic that can help. I think for me, it was something to help immigrants, right? And that's something I always tell people when you work on projects. It shouldn't be something that everybody has done. Everybody analyzing Titanic data, everybody analyzing count of this, sales of this. For me, I felt like projects that stand out are things that people will look at the topic and they'll be interested in it, right? So for me, I did something around analyzing Toronto neighborhoods, especially for new immigrants, so for them to know what areas were the safest, what areas they will get affordable housing, because that's something I felt someone's coming to a new city, they would want to know. Um, so I did that August, November 2020. December, I did the same thing. I published my second project. This time around, I wanted to go a step further. I was reading about NLP, natural language processing. It was really interesting, you analyzing text and all of that. Um, Decided to add Tableau to it, doing visualization. So I had to learn Tableau. And yeah, I think that project was I would say like starting point for me because it got a lot of reactions, like positive reactions, and people saying it was good. And then some of my friends kept on telling me, "Oh, I could start applying for job." So for a job, but in my mind, I felt like I wasn't ready. I felt like I needed to do more projects and all of that. So in January 2021, just like we have this session, I attended one on Clubhouse that had to do with how to structure your resume for like data roles, and it was really interesting. So the person had shared, it was IJ, she works in Facebook now. They shared a sample resume in PDF. I really liked it, so I went online, looked for templates to use, and I revamped my resume, made it one page, made it less boring. And I think it was middle of January. I applied. I said let me start applying. I applied like on a Wednesday night because I don't really sleep so well. I applied on like Wednesday night, early morning. The next morning at 8 or 9, when I checked my email, I got my first interview with HR. So for me, that was like the validation I needed that okay, something was going well with what I was doing, right? Um, that I did that interview, but I think apparently, so I got to talk to someone that was in the role already. I didn't get the job eventually. I did the interview, and then I did like an Excel case study with them, um and then an interview with the hiring manager and someone on the team. Usually they'll ask you how much do you want as your salary when you start, right? And I didn't get the job, and I was like, I know I did everything right, so there was no way I wasn't going to get it. And then when I talked to the person, he was like, oh, the amount I called for them was like twice what they were being paid, right? So it was, for me, it was like good riddance. So I kept applying for jobs the following month. I was getting interviews, still going from one stage to another. In some cases, I won't get past the first stage. In some cases, I would get to meet the hiring manager after talking with the HR person, right? But then I still wouldn't get the role. there's this particular one that made me stop applying because I knew I'd done the interview, or it was for like an engineering firm. So it was similar to what I'd done in engineering and a mix of data analytics, right? So it was down to me and one other person. We did a personality test, something like that, and then I did end up getting the role. That one made me stop applying because I was like, okay, I was gonna get this role, and then I stopped sending my resume for jobs, but I didn't eventually get it. But anyways, in the midst of all of that, right? Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned I quit my job in January. I kept on working on projects. So I'll think of projects to do and then I'll just keep working on it. I think the project I worked on in February of 2021 got me the Tableau Views of the Day, which is more like I don't know quite prestigious award, but like they give it to like dashboards that and are really awesome, and they publish it on the Tableau um what do you call it, the Tableau app for that day. So anyone that logs into the app, they get to see your dashboard. So it was really good for me. I was just happy with all the things because it felt like I knew I was doing something right. So I also had to learn SQL and brush up on my Power BI as well, right? Because I was getting interviews where they would ask for Power BI. So I kept on doing all of these interviews. In some cases, I'll have to do case studies. Some cases, I'll have to do assessments. But still, I wasn't getting any offers. So I stopped applying, like I said, and then I launched Data Tech Space in March. We had to launch the website, so it took a toll on me. So I had to stop applying and going for interviews. In April, started applying again, and I think for this particular job, I just did one interview with them. It was like 1 hour, a panel interview. And then the next day or 2 days after, they called me and said, oh, they want to make me an offer. So it was, for me, it was very good validation. Though I didn't accept it because it was not in Toronto and they wanted me to relocate and they weren't going to pay me enough for all of that. So I rejected the offer, even though I didn't have another offer at hand. I don't know, my star called me silly, but eventually I think it paid off. So I'm almost done with this timeline. In May of last year, I got more offers and then I accepted the one with Geotab. So I basically was working in the HR department. Now, HR, HR is, sorry, someone's texting me. HR is a very, very interesting field. I also need to shout out to my partner, right? All through this period where I was saying I was applying for jobs, right? It was when I was always changing me and telling me, don't worry, I'll soon get the job. Don't worry, you're doing well. This is what I was losing hope gradually, but like I said here, don't lose hope, right? Um, so I got more offers. I got more offers in May and then I accepted the one with Geotab. Geotab was a company where they manufacture this car tracking devices for fleet that you put in your personal cars. So while I was in the HR depth analyzing HR data, a lot of people ask me why I left that role, right? I'll probably tell you guys. So I was there for May, but it was for me. HR is a really interesting field, but I feel like there's only so much you can analyze in HR data, especially when you don't have. So basically, they are just moved to a different platform, Lever. So Lever was what we were using for recruitment, entire recruitment life cycle. Um, but we had a lot of issues with data there, though we're still working on cleaning it and all of that, right? But I think 2 months after I started, my manager left the role. And then, no, her manager left, and then she left like a month after. And these are the two people that started the team, right? So for me, I wasn't just seeing a point where I was going to grow beyond where I was in that field. And this was like a very new department. So if the pioneers were leaving, then it was more like, what are we still doing there? So I left the role, and then February of this year, I got one with Sobeys, right? Where I'm working as a data analyst for the e-commerce team. For anyone that is also trying to figure out what industry they should go into, I would say e-commerce is very interesting. Right? I'm not just saying because I'm in the field now, but there's a whole lot to what goes on behind the scenes. So for instance, you order your food on Jumia or you order like whatever you want to buy, right? Like an item. Before it gets to your doorstep, you only know, okay, a delivery guy calls you and tells you it's there, right? But before it gets to your doorstep, there's a whole lot of things that go into it, right? In my case, the way Sobeys works is we source our everything we sell from the supplier. So we don't have like a marketplace where people can just publish their products on our website. Like you have on Jumia where random sellers publish their goods, right? So we source our stuff, they deliver it to our warehouse. The warehouse is automated whereby when a customer places an order for groceries, we have like robots that go pick it up and then put in the bags, and then it goes on to the delivery trucks, right? So in the midst of all of that, there's a lot of data coming in. So sometimes how some of the things I do is I check or analyze it. So how long is it taking for each of the suppliers to deliver to our warehouse? Sometimes you suppliers bring goods, they are not, what on the PO is purchase order. What you ask them to deliver, you ask them to deliver 20 cases, they're delivering 15. Most of all those things we look at, are they on time? Because we use all that to go back to them, to ask why certain things, why they are not meeting our standards in quotes. And sometimes if we get worse over time, we'll stop using those suppliers. There's another aspect where it comes to the customer. Okay, you're delivering, customers ask for item A, B, C. You only have item A and B, and maybe you have to substitute for C. What's the rate at which we're substituting? Are we meeting all the customers' orders? Those are things we analyze. There's a whole lot that goes into it. I probably have to do another session for that. But it's a very interesting field, trust me. Finance is another interesting one. I saw someone that said they wanted to be a financial analyst. Finance is another interesting one because people are always crying out transactions day in, day out. I have not worked in the field, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunity in terms of improvement and in terms of what you can learn. Another aspect I probably didn't mention is forecasting, prediction that goes into e-commerce, because you're ordering from suppliers. How do you know if you have to order 10 cases or 20 cases? Because you don't know what the customer's demand is going to be, right? So that's another very interesting aspect, but I won't go into that. But anyways, what's happening now? I love my new role. It's probably like 2-3 months in. For anyone following me on Twitter, you see when I post like when I talk to my manager, like things that she says back to me and stuff. It's really interesting. And yeah, I'm also working on a book, which I'm into writing the outline, but I'm talking to you guys. And then launching a startup with some people. Yeah, hopefully we get to release that soon. And then also working on DTS. So we keep building and trying to help the community to make sure that everyone that's joined get what they need. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So in the midst of all these plenty things I've said, what do I think you should take away? I think first things first is be passionate about what you want to do, right? I said this thing, I don't know if I've said it, but I think it's a tweet that I'm going to tweet out, is that you shouldn't just go into a particular field because you feel, oh, this person is doing well in it. Evaluate what it takes and then see if it's something you find interesting, right? And then I said, do what you will. Yeah, I said this because I feel just you shouldn't be held back, right? There are a lot of things that would have probably prevented me from being where I am today, but because I was passionate about what I was doing and I love working with numbers and data a lot, it just worked out for me well. And then join the community if you can. You can, it's not if you can. There are a lot of communities, it's not just data tech space. There's one all about data, I think on Twitter, they have a Discord as well. There's Data First also building there. So there are a lot of communities that you can join. And this really helps because that was one reason I said I started data tech space, because I didn't see that community to be part of my journey. I only had my friends that I would go meet if I had like issues with like my work, or for them to review my dashboards before I publish it. But now there's that community on Twitter. Even on Twitter, like people post dashboards. I had to review someone's on this morning and then just put comments. Yeah, there are people everywhere to help. And then I said learn something different every day. If you're on this journey, you have like a structured course or a program you're doing, just make sure you set out time for what you need to learn, right? And then another thing, I think I'll merge these 2 points: be proactive and speak up. Even this is not just about speaking, right? Don't be shy to share your work. I've gotten a lot of DMs where someone asked me, I'm a very private person. How do I start sharing my work? How do I do this? How do I do that? nobody's going to do it for you. You finish your code or your dashboard, you keep it on your system, it's just going to be there. Or you put it on Medium and you don't tell people to read it, it's just going to be there. Nobody's going to see it. And this is what basically will set you apart. I can tell you, when I was going for all these interviews I mentioned when I started, um, they weren't asking me questions about Power BI, what is Power BI or what is DAX, or tell me how to do this in Tableau. We're basically talking about my project, because what most people want to see is the problem solving aspect, how you can think through solutions for them, because that's what they want an analyst for, not to be building dashboards that don't make any sense. And last thing, personal branding. I said it goes a long way. LinkedIn should be the most used application on your device if you are at the stage where you're searching for a job or trying to break into a particular industry. I'll publish tips on this. I think I don't know if I've done one before, but yeah, I'll try to work on something on my Instagram or Twitter. But yeah, this is basically what I have. Why did I put this slide? Okay. So yeah, this is just still just finishing what I said. Develop an agile mindset, meaning just be flexible with things as you go along. Sometimes things will change in terms of what you want to learn, but just make sure you're focused on your main goal. Whatever you want to do is what doing well. This applies to like your projects, your dashboards, your interviews. Um, just make sure you put in your best effort so that at the end of the day you don't regret and say, oh, I probably gave 80% when I should have given 100%. And lastly, there's no experience that is wasted. Believe me, you might be working in an industry completely different now, but you can never tell if that experience will come in handy eventually. So don't see yourself as wasting your time doing something. But obviously, if you think, I'm not telling you to quit your job, but if you think you can sacrifice some more time to focus on where you want to be, then by all means, just do that. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have. If you like, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter. I don't accept like DMs on Instagram or Twitter, but on LinkedIn, I get messages there and I reply to the messages on LinkedIn. Yeah, because I feel like it's a more professional atmosphere. LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram is mostly for friends and family. Yeah, and bands. But yeah, on LinkedIn, if you want, you can send me a message, connect with me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now for all the questions you've written down, if you have any, I'll be taking them now. Okay. Abiola, do you have like questions that people had written down? That you noted? Okay, thankfully it's still recording.
Yes, we have a few questions in the message box.
Okay.
So, do you want me to read through for you, or you just want to?
Uh, yeah, you can just go. Yeah, you can just take them. No problem. Just tell me, then I'll just answer. Yeah.
Okay, so Esther is saying, what are some of the communities and those? Well,
Mhm.
I think you mentioned Data Tech, Data First, and many others, I
There's
guess.
it's all about data on, yeah, it's all about data as well.
Okay, all about data. Then,
Yeah.
please, what's the proper thing to say when asked that, when has that question during interview? How much do you expect to be paid? Okay, the salary part.
Oh, okay. So in my case, right? I don't. So the first thing, I don't know. So it depends on. I won't say it depends on the country you're in, because I think for every job, people have an idea of what the average salary is, right? So for me, when I was studying on Glassdoor here in Canada, average data analyst salary is around 60,000, right? But in my case, I think I was asking for about 70, 80,000 dollars. I think it's down dollars per year. Um, so I'll just say, if you are in that boat where you need to where they ask you what salary do you want, right? Before the interview, you should do your research and know what that job role pays. So if you're in Nigeria, for example, I don't tell you say this amount, because I've seen different data analyst roles in the Nigerian market where some say 250,000 per month, some say like 500,000 like for a senior role. So I really cannot say. Maybe someone that works in the Nigerian market will best advise, right? Who can best advise what they were earning. But yeah, for me, what I would say is I did my research like for the average salaries. I also looked at the company as well. Companies also have their own salary. I don't want to look at average actually. I look at the median, because the average can be a bit
Okay.
skewed because they'll probably take the lowest and then the highest. I look at the median. Um, yeah. So, and again, if another thing is, I've seen this static somewhere where you can throw the question back to the person, right, or the HR, and say, I don't have a number in mind, but if you want to tell me what the budget or the salary cap for this role is, I would appreciate it. If the person is a
Mhm.
good HR person, they would tell you. Their interviews have gone for. I remember when I interviewed with LinkedIn last year, they didn't even ask me that. Or I think they asked me and then I told them, oh, that I did not know. And then she actually offered to tell me how much they paid for the role. So some HR persons would do that, but some want to be shady. Some might even now go as far as asking you what you're earning before. Please do not ever tell them that. But yeah, I would say do your research on the role. I've told you what it is here in Canada. I don't know about Nigeria. Nigeria, I've seen different salary ranges. Yeah. So you might just want to ask someone working in the field what the acceptable should be. But again, you should have in mind how much you feel you collect in a month. Because yeah, I
So
think hope that helps for that. Yeah.
SCN, yeah, SCN
Mhm.
is saying what software did you use for your first slide? The first slide you posted, the dashboard,
First
I guess.
slide. No, I didn't post a dashboard. I'm sharing
No,
my
as in your
screen.
first, well, no, no, what the person is saying is, you
Mm.
posted on your social media handle
Is it this?
your
Is this what's
first
referring to?
post.
My first post.
Um, no,
Oh wait, can you
how you started your career.
Okay.
eh,
Do you want the
okay.
person to unmute?
Yeah, because I don't understand the
Okay,
question.
so
Okay,
SCN,
I think she was asking, she's asking what software you're using for the presentation.
Oh, this one I just presented, right?
Yeah, like I like the whole present,
or
like
your
what's
Oh
like instead of,
yeah.
is it PPT, is it Canva, what
Oh,
are
oh,
you
it's
okay.
using?
Canva. It's Canva. Sorry. That's how I was wondering. Like,
Oh, okay.
what's? Yeah, it's Canva, right? Yeah,
Okay, I get it.
I use Canva for like my presentations. Even
Okay.
like when I get to have to
So,
do case studies during interviews, I use Canva. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, Tomilola is saying, how do you stay focused with a lot flying around? I don't know what that means.
Okay. Okay. So if you mean like distractions, or you have like a second job,
Uh-huh.
or and you're trying to learn, I don't know. Again, I was I'm a motivational speaker, to be honest. I like to be practical. I don't know if also I think for me it was easier for me to learn when I was here, because there's always lights, there's always internet. I don't have to worry about like data cap and all of that. So I understand that there may be struggles in terms of learning and doing all of that right back home. But I would say I'll just the example of what worked for me. Like I said, when I started my own learning process, I was still working, right? But again, I said I had to do 4 days a week, 3 days off to learn and work on projects. I would say like just carve out time. For me, like I'm most productive in the morning. So a lot of people see me online like in the morning. That's when I put out tweets and stuff. But that's when a lot of things come to my head. During the day, as you get towards the evenings, I slow down a bit. So I would say just carve out time. Another thing I would say that would help you is if you have someone as well. There are a lot of people on this call, which I think of obviously most of them are side hustle interns, right? Have like a body that you're accountable to. So that way, as the person is learning, the person is telling you, okay, I've learned this today. What about you? So that way you have someone you're accountable to. Um, and it pushes you obviously in the right direction. I talked about community as well. That also helps for times when like you struggle with stuff, you have people to talk to or reach out to. And yeah, don't be shy. Reach out if you're having issues. They're always people willing to help. Yeah.
Okay, so Faye is saying, how do you find projects to work on?
I made a post about that. I don't know, on Twitter. I don't know if I can find the link now, but there are projects everywhere. Sometimes people work on projects in two ways. The way I like to work on my own project, I think of the topic first, then I try to find the data sets for it, right? Some people prefer to have data sets, and from data sets, they craft a topic. Um, and I think on my, I'll try and retweet. I'll try and retweet it. Or what I plan to do was to have like I don't know if I can do that this weekend. I plan to have like an Excel file that has that has links to all of these topics, right? Because on Twitter, obviously everything, if it's not a recent tweet, it just goes down and you have to start searching and searching. So I'll see if I can bring it up and put the link in the. Let me just see if I can open my Twitter. While we ask the next question. But basically, finding projects, I don't think is very difficult. If you prefer to start with the method I said, you have the data sets and then you have to work on the project from data sets. That's fine. I also had a tweet that I put how to get different data sets if you're doing finance projects or things around a particular country or city. There are data sets everywhere. So I'll try to look for it now while we're talking. And hopefully that helps. If you still need like advice on like projects, you can hit me up on LinkedIn, connect with me and then send me a message. Let me just try to find it to it while Abiola asks the next question. Yeah.
Okay, so Adeshola Dosumu says, one of my question is, do you think it's overambitious for data newbie to be searching and applying for international companies for remote?
If it's ambitious, I don't think it is.
Overambitious.
Overambitious. I don't know, I'm laughing. I don't think it is. So I'm just copying the link to this tweet for the person that asked. So this is for data sets. I just put it in the chat. For projects, I have some tweets about project ideas for like Python, SQL. I'll look for it as well. So just to answer the question about being over ambitious, no, it's not. It's not. And I would say what you mean by entry level or a data newbie. So do you have like projects that you worked on? If you can unmute your mic and answer, please do. Do you have like projects you
Adeshola
worked on
Dosumu.
already? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I have projects I've worked on.
And a portfolio and stuff. Okay.
Yes,
So
I
I
do.
don't think it's over ambitious, to be honest, right? Do I know people, like I keep seeing on Twitter that when people say that it's difficult to get like to get international jobs, right? So you can work remotely from Nigeria. But I know people that have done it and some ended up moving from with the job, right? So I don't think it's over ambitious. Another thing you can also try is like there are freelance sites where you can put up your project and people see it and they call you to do like contract jobs. From there, if they like what they see, they can refer it to their company, right? So no, I don't think it is. Though very few companies, like a lot of people ask me about the jobs here. Not all the companies here end up doing remotes. I know Shopify does remote worldwide, but it's mostly geared towards like software engineering. But honestly, I don't think it's over ambitious. You really can never tell. But I'll say like while you apply for international jobs as well, you can still keep looking like in your home country. Um, what else? I wanted to say something that I forgot now. Yeah, as long as you have your projects,
Yeah.
right, and they're pretty good, you have your portfolio on your resume, yeah, then shoot your shots. You can only get that many rejects mails. I got my fair share of them as well, but I'm not saying don't just be discouraged. But I'd say also look for how you channel your energy. Then if you also have the opportunity to move internationally, right? Then you can also be focusing on that line as well. I know a lot of people are like moving to Canada this year. A lot of people are going to the UK because they're easing their immigration policies, right? So if you have that option as well, feel free to explore it. On DTS, I think we have a channel for Canada immigration. I don't know why we started that channel, but Yeah, there are people also exploring that path as well, right? So you can do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, you just mentioned that there are a
Mhm.
lot of freelance sites to get contract jobs. Like, do you want to name a few?
I know only Upwork in my head, but
Okay, Upwork.
I'll find it with. I just usually bookmark them, but let me just see. Like it's hard for me to search for all these things now, but I'm looking for one now about projects, right? Okay. So I will try and check. If just look out on my Twitter, like afterwards, I can retweet it or check gifts. I don't know if anyone knows gifts
Okay, gifts. Yeah,
or Jia Bulu. Yeah. So
gifts.
gift has like awesome threads around things
Gifts.
like that. So
Yeah.
you would see those. Like I've been seeing people about
Okay.
talk about Upwork recently and getting like on LinkedIn, getting gigs from Upwork. Someone was talking about she made up to $2,000 in a month or so on Upwork, and I'm like, wow. So
Mhm.
definitely explore that as well. Mhm.
So please, when you find that, you can post up on your Twitter so we can
Yeah,
check through.
I would retweet. Yep.
Okay, so Joseph is saying, what platforms do you recommend for learning tools such as Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and others?
Mm. What platform? Oh, you said Excel. These are different tools, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
he said, platform do you recommend for learning? That's
do
tools
I
such as,
recommend
I think it means, what tools do you recommend
me?
that one learns? Joseph, if I'm wrong.
Okay. Oh, what do I? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I would say if you are starting out, your Excel first. Excel first. People jump to SQL and they think it's Excel is first, honestly. And you know, just learning Excel as learning Excel as sum or average and all of that. No. Look at your pivot tables, know how to do the different types of lookups, VLOOKUP X, XLOOKUP. Um also explore Power Query. So I've been hearing about Power Query in Excel before
Mm.
my current job, but I've never actually used it. No, I think I saw it in Jota, but I wasn't really interested. But funny enough, when in this my current role, for some of the reports I have to do, analysis, not analysis reports, I use Power Query in Excel. I still have Tableau where we view dashboards, but I use Power Query in Excel to like pull because some of our data comes from SAP. So in order to like have them and have it automatically refreshed when you pull the data each day, we just use Power Query and then we do the refresh once the data changes. So learn Power Query in Excel. If you learn Power Query in Excel, it would be it will be easier when you start doing Power BI because it's almost like an extension of it. What else? So yeah, I'm just trying to say that there's a whole lot more to Excel that people don't realize, and that always puts you on the edge. So for entry level low roles, even we're currently recruiting for one in my organization, and when I do the interview with my manager on with the person, that's one of the things I'm definitely gonna ask. Um, what else? Then yeah, Excel I mentioned. SQL is next. Um, you're always going to be pulling data from somewhere, so you should know how to use SQL. Next is either Power BI or Tableau. But we had a session last week where people talked about this. In Nigeria, I think Microsoft tools are a lot more common. So you have a lot of companies using Power BI. But outside Nigeria, it's a bit different because in my company now we have MS365, but I also use Tableau, right? So some companies use ClickSense, some companies also use Power BI here. So I would say learn either Power BI or Tableau. Those are the two most common ones. I used to say like once you know one, it's easier to learn the other one if you want to learn the other one. But if you're like looking for jobs in Nigerian market, I'll suggest Power BI. I think with those three, you should be good to go, right? As you're learning, just build projects, build dashboards, and add them to your portfolio. That should be good good to set you apart, right? You also have this side also internship you're doing that you can also put that experience somewhat on your resume. For me, like I said, my projects made a lot of difference because that's what we're mostly talking about in the interviews. So yeah, please do that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Samuel is saying, where is the best place to publish data sets? LinkedIn, Medium, or other social media pages? Also, how soon can one create a portfolio?
Mm, what do you mean how soon? As uh sorry, I'm just also looking out for projects. So I don't know what you mean by how soon. Um to post I don't know what you mean by post data sets. Just a sec. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. So you're posting your analysis,
Your
right?
work,
So your
yeah.
work, yeah. So okay, I would say it's a medium, right? It doesn't have to be medium. It can be like any other, maybe WordPress or any of all these blogging sites. But medium, why?
Okay,
Because medium has publications that you can be a
okay.
part of when you publish. So for me, I use Towards Data Science. There are other ones that I reached out when I started publishing for me to add my work to their publications. And I think you can easily just apply to anyone for you to put your work there because that gives you more visibility. Um, Another thing I would say is for Medium, so if you publish something on Medium, for example, you can just copy the link or share it and it goes to your LinkedIn, right? Um, Also, if you look at my project on Medium, I put my dashboard on there, like a snapshot of it. I also put the links to like other places people can go to. So my GitHub link is there, my Tableau link to my Tableau public profile, wherever dashboard is hosted. For me, I
Mhm.
don't know if I'll say I'd overdo stuff, but even with all of that, I still had like a website separately that also my resume. So my website has all of my work, has links to other stuff as well from DTS, then has like some resources I put together like a while ago. So, but I would say you can Medium definitely is post analysis, right? Because you want to tell people your thought process, and that's just me. I like to write. Some people just have like dashboards somewhere on their portfolio sites that they use or on Tableau Public. That's also fine if you don't like to write. But yeah, and then I'm trying to think what else. So if you use Power BI, for instance, I don't think Power BI has something like Tableau Public. Someone asked me
Oh,
that question.
it's
So for Power,
Prestige.
okay.
Sorry, someone is trying to share.
So for Power BI, so for Power BI, yeah, I was even done sharing. So for Power BI, you can have them on like something like Google Sites or Disha pages, where you just have like a picture of it, and then you put like a little write up on what that dashboard was about. So for people that want to build like one-page sites, that would really help. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. If it doesn't, you can always ask again or reach out to me, and then I can explain more. Yeah.
Okay. So, thrill motion.
Mhm,
How is it? Well, I think you've answered this, but let me just read it out.
mhm,
How is the transition from data analyst? I mean, what
mhm.
course do you? Oh God, someone just dropped their hair. Yeah, I mean that. What courses do you need to pass through before you can call yourself a data analyst?
Courses. No, I don't think I would say courses. I just mentioned what you need to learn, right? And there
Yeah.
are different courses that offer this, right? In some cases, there are some courses that will teach you all these things, but I don't think I've seen any. So what people are doing now, you have like the Google Data Analytics course, right? Where they teach you Tableau, Excel, and R programming. I'm not a fan of R programming, so but because I feel R programming is for people that want to go into like core statistics. People in healthcare use it a lot. Some people in data science use it a lot, but I prefer Python. But Google Data Analytics course uses R for some weird reason. I've, IBM, the IBM course I did teaches SQL, teaches Python, but then because IBM is also trying to sell their own tool to you, IBM now tells you to use, I think on the IBM Data Analyst, they tell you to use IBM Cognos, right? Which is not a very popular tool. I've not seen any company that uses it, like in the ones I've interviewed with and I've worked in. So the courses are a bit everywhere. So I would say even if you want to take a Google Data Analytics course, for example, that teaches you some of these things, I think with SQL, Python, I not we don't have to learn Python to be honest, but it's nice to have. I think with SQL, Excel, and then either Power BI or Tableau, you should be good to go. But again, I need to mention, I tell people it's not just by learning these tools. Um, you should be, how do I put it now? You should be a you should have an analytical mindset. You should be someone that is always geared towards solving problems, right? Not just I can build this dashboard and someone asks you, okay, what would this dashboard do for me? And you cannot answer them. I was talking through what I do currently in my organization, right? A lot of the things I do is not just reporting. There are things you have to think through. Or we made this change to the system. How do I measure the impact? Where am I going to get data from? How would this help the managers or the business leaders make decisions that would affect change? So it's not just about building dashboard. So I just need to mention that I made a post about it on LinkedIn. There are other aspects to it, being able to communicate effectively, being able to solve problems and think of solutions. So when I won't talk about you doing a project, right? You shouldn't be doing projects where it's just what everybody is doing. Or I'm analyzing COVID data, which is fine for people that do visualization. I'm analyzing this. People have done that. So what project are you doing that would not even solve a problem, that will just showcase that you're a critical thinker, right? Those things really do help. And I think that was what landed my first role. In my geotab interview, they were mostly asking me about the project I did on Bridgerton. That was just like a side project or a fun project for me. But um, the data AVP was basically telling me to tell him, okay, why did I do batch streaming for the tweets? Why didn't I do this? What was the impact of this part of the analysis? And obviously, because I did it myself, I could easily answer. So again, just have that mindset that your project should be geared towards solving like problems, right? So it could be, if I can think of a sort of problem, something off the top of my head, is there any pressing issue in Nigeria at the moment? Or there was one I saw that was really interesting that hey, I can't remember his name now. He's on my Twitter. God. He did something around electricity that got views of the day recently on Tableau. Um I will try and find his handle. Really nice project. And then he just talked about the electricity situation in Nigeria. I loved it a lot because it's something that is pressing. People would want to read about what it's about. There's inflation as well. Please, what's his name? What's the person's name? Obina, can you mute your mic? Um, there's inflation happening where prices of goods are rising every day. You can do a project that shows like how what the impact of inflation has had. People that are earning 500,000 a month, that is not even enough to cater for their needs monthly anymore because of inflation. So those are things you can think about and do a project around it. I have a lot of project ideas, but I don't just have time. So if you think you want, then, or you have something and you want to bounce it off, you can send me a message on LinkedIn. There's not too many messages, but yeah, it might take me time to reply, but yeah, I definitely would. All right.
Okay, so Tommy Singh is saying, please, at what point can one start applying for internship? That's for a job, I guess. What level of proficiency do I need to reach before I
I think
start applying?
we've answered this, right? If you let
Yes,
me know, yeah, I
you've
think
an-
we answered this.
you've answered it then.
But
Okay, moving on to I'm following you on LinkedIn, but seems your DM is locked from my hand. I
no,
don't know if
it's
there's
not
any
locked.
problem.
If you've not connected with me, then and you can't send emails, then you won't be able to send me a message. So once I accept like your request, then you would be. So no worries. I'll try and get to the request by end of next week. I can't say this weekend because I have like tons of things to do. At the
Okay.
moment, I think I have like 65, but when I checked this morning, so and this was like from 100 and something, and I had someone help me accept them. So please, I would you'd be able to send a message. But if you want like a faster response, I'm usually on Twitter, right? So when people tag me to stuff, I try to respond, right? So if you think it's like a question that is not so private, you can ask me on there as well. Yeah.
Okay, how do you handle information overload as a beginner?
Nice.
There's a lot of information out there, and many people say
Nice.
do this, do that.
Yeah. I like that question, honestly. I think I had the same issue as well when I started. There were so many things I needed to learn. But I think for me, when I started with that IBM data science course, I just wanted to see it through to the end. Um, and then one thing I did, again, I would say people, even for me, I think I'm even guilty of that, where I post different things you can learn or sites you can learn. But I tell people when I post this, just pick one. You don't have to pick everything. Just pick one. But I think what I'll try to do is I'll just try to do something where I put out a path and then I tell you this. But why I don't want to do that is people will think, oh, this maybe course or the owner of this course is paying me to influence for them or bring more people to their course. But no, so people put out different courses or websites you can learn stuff from. It's just for you to pick one, right? One thing I said that will help, and I think we did this on DTS. If you check the pin suite, I think I did it for Excel and SQL, where I put for intermediate level. So if you check I think it's pinned to the profile for beginner, intermediate level. So I just need to mute this person. For beginner, intermediate level, and advanced level, I put the topics that you need to cover, right? So you have the topics. I want to learn SQL. Okay, I want to be at beginner level in SQL. These are the topics I need to learn. There are different sites that teach SQL. There's SQL, there's Mode SQL, there's W3 schools. There are different sites. W3 schools cover most of all these topics. So basically, go through the topics. It doesn't matter what site you're learning from, they'll teach you the same thing, right? Everybody's just trying to, they're not making money because it's free. They're just trying to put things out there, but just focus on one. That's what I would just say regarding that. So the first thing first is map out your learning journey, know what you need to learn. Structured courses are a bit easier to follow, like the Google Data Analytics course or IBM. But again, like I said, those guys don't teach you everything, but obviously it's good to have that path to follow. But yeah, look at the roadmap. That I think just check DTS, the pin switch. You see something for a sequel. Then I think if you scroll down, I'll probably try and retweet it. You will see the one I did for Excel. Or I think on the Instagram page, it's a bit more concise and yeah, I think that's a lot better to direct people to. So you see the topics you need to learn. The sites are also there. You don't have to go through all of the sites. Just pick one site and make sure they cover all these topics that are there. And I always tell people as you do that, also build projects. I've put the links in the chat to some project ideas. I think I also saw one as well just now. To some project ideas that you can use. I made tweets for SQL, I made tweets for Excel. No, Excel. I made tweets for Python. I made tweets for on the thread. You see the one for Tableau, or if you're building dashboards. Work on projects as you learn these things, because that's the only way to validate what you've actually learned, right? That's basically what I would say about that. If you are stuck and maybe you need someone to tell you, okay, this is the course you should do, you can send me a message. I will tell you go and do this particular course, or send me a tweet or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is it compulsory to learn Python and SQL? I think you've answered that.
Yeah, Python not so much if you're starting out in data analytics, but SQL definitely. But obviously Python is a nice to have, and I think because a lot of people are also going into this field now, it's a bit more. How do I put it? Competition is a bit stiff, right? So obviously having Python would help, but I would say if once you have like your Power BI, SQL under your belt, you project, start applying to jobs, you can also always learn Python as you go along, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me cover. I think. Okay, could you elaborate on how to write a data analyst resume?
That's a whole session. I'm sorry, that's a whole session, to be honest. Do I have a tweet about this? Give me a sec. I don't think I do. Check my Instagram if I do. But I had a session last year, I think around May. I think I was in Nigeria then. Yeah, I had a session in May where I walk people through building a resume. But I don't think I posted it on YouTube or anything. I'll try and see if I can post it. I'm also trying to think. Give me a sec. I know I put something on resume recently. I'll try and find something I put about resume. But yeah, it's a whole session, to be honest. Because I think that day we took like 2 hours, just like we are doing now, and then I walk people through. Another thing I would say is if you want to see like how my resume looks, there's a YouTube video where I talked recently, I think last month, about like data career interviews. Um, in that YouTube video, I shared how my resume looked when I started applying for jobs. Let me just see if I can bring it up. All right, give me a
Okay.
sec. Let me just see. Okay. I can open. I hope it plays. Give me a sec. Should be looks. I see resumes because it's a different session. Let me just say I'll post the link here and then I'll just walk you through something. My videos. Trying to find my face here. Okay, nice. Okay. Just let me share something. Uh, where are we? Okay. Can you hear what's playing on my screen?
Yeah, I can hear.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking if you're hearing like the video that was playing. Well, let me take this link. I'm
I
trying
could
to.
hear the video.
Oh, you could hear the video. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So don't worry, I'll just put the link so that you guys can look at it later on. And I'll just talk about some things on the resume just briefly. I don't know if it's going to be clear. I'm not sure what's 720. Okay. Okay. I think here I was sharing with them like my before and after. Oh, nice. This was a very good example. Okay. Yeah. So this was how my resume looked like before. Um, it was just black and white, a lot of unnecessary things on it. Someone's mic is unmuted. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah. So I had this and then it became this, right? So I'll just walk you through how it was. This, my information is here. Technical skills came first. So on the very top, you see, so this video started at 1 minute 9 seconds, 1 hour 9 seconds mark, 1 hour
mm,
9 minutes mark rather, to see this. And then you see my skills here: Python, SQL, R, SQL, Excel, VBA, data visualization tools I know how to use, other tools that companies will ask for. And I also talked about the libraries I knew in Python, for instance, right? And then some soft skills. And then before my work experience, I'd put the projects I'd worked on. So like I said, and if you see all these tiny boxes underneath, it talked about like the tools I use for that project, right? And then the links here kind of show you so when you click on the link, for instance, it takes you all the way to the article, for instance, my GitHub or the full reports I did. In this case, it takes you to the Tableau dashboard, blah, blah, blah. Also on the very top, you would see my LinkedIn profile, my GitHub, my websites as well. So this was basically how the resume looked, and it's my resume is basically one page. I don't know why it doesn't. Let me stop this. Uh, okay. So this is the bottom of the resume. And then this is the end basically. There's nothing else. Has all the jobs. Obviously now there are like two more jobs on here, right? And then this had my education, and I put the IBM course I did. So if for instance you did like the Google Data Analytics course, for instance, you can put it here and the year you got the certification, right? Then I also just put as a caveat or underneath some of the courses that they covered, right, that are relevant to the roles. Another thing I need to mention is on your resume, do not if you're writing what they call it now, the achievements, you don't put some people on their resume. I review a lot of resumes. Some people will put I did this. Never use I on my resume, first of all. Don't put what you
Okay.
did, put your achievements, please. And then have numbers to back them up. You can, I'm not saying put fictitious numbers, because whatever you put there, they're going to ask in your interview. Just have numbers. You're a data analyst, you're a data scientist. You should be aware that you work with numbers. So put numbers. I achieved. I'm not. You know, I achieved. Developed this. That improved this by 20%, or reduced lead time by 5 days. It was stuff like that. So you can check the video. I think I explained more in it. That should help. If you're looking for templates, let me just type the website for templates for resumes, freeresumes, I think .com. There are templates there that you can use as well. Yeah. Hope that helps. Okay. Are there still more
Mhm.
questions?
Most of the questions are similar.
Okay.
So yeah. So free resume. Okay, you've already posted this. What else?
Okay, Abiola,
I
you
think
can check
we
the
have, we have
question box. You can check the question
we
box,
we
then
even
you
have
see
some
some
people on
questions there.
queue to
Okay, I guess like people raising their hand can like ask questions, right?
yes can ask questions. So people Williams Okafor. Is it Williams that is the first person? Williams. Okay, lower.
Hello,
Oluwabumi Ogunlano.
hello, good afternoon.
Okay,
Hi.
Williams.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Williams. I have a question in relation to everything that was said.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently in the university, particularly in the field of actuarial science, and I'm also an intern in side hustle, learning data analytics. And I just wanted to know, like, sometimes I get a bit confused if it's okay combining those two career paths, that is actuarial science and data analytics. So I just wanted to know, hear what your opinion concerning it is. Thank you.
Jessica, you're muted.
Jessica, you're muted.
Sorry. I was saying, yes, I was saying, like, I've heard about actuarial science, right? And I know, like, people that studied end up working in, like, insurance, the benefits field. I think it has a little bit to do with statistics as well. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Hi, Williams. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay. So, and then you said you were also combining with, like, side hustle internship, right? And you're doing the internship on data analytics, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So your question is, can you combine both?
yes, that's my question.
Yeah. And my question is, why not? Right. Um, I don't know. Is it? I just want to get your perspective. So is it that combining it is like, well, when you say combine, is it that like one is giving you so much stress, or it's difficult to like learn what you're doing in school, and then combine it with what you're doing inside hustle? Is that what it is? Or you think they're like two conflicting fields?
No, like from the people I've spoken with, I know that they are kind of similar, but my course in school is actually very demanding. But the why I
Oh,
was asking the question is that sometimes I just get that confusion where is it really, is it sometimes I feel like maybe it's data analytics is like a separate field on its own. So sometimes I wonder if it's something that I can combine and like infuse with my current course in the university. That's just why I was asking the question.
okay. I'll show you something. Just a second. First of all, yeah, I think you can combine it. I think the part about it being like, I think the part about it being demanding, right, is I want to say something you have to figure out, but I think it's something that you can just try to carve out time. So I'm not trying to. Oh no, it's not giving me what I want. Something you can try to carve out time, right? In terms of having like I call it a roadmap. Yeah, because I'm trying to imagine. I'm not trying to think of when I was in uni. To honestly, like, yeah, I don't know if I've been able to do it as well. To be honest, but for me, I just never. I just say never. Like, if you can carve out time, and I will assure you that is the skills you learn like on your side also the internship will pay a whole lot more compared to I'm not saying compared to what you finish in what you learn in uni, because obviously you need your uni degree at the end of the day. You want to get a good grade, right? But I would say like what you learn on the internship would probably be a whole lot more beneficial, like when you get into the job market. Why I say that is even for me in uni, I don't know. I used what I learned in like the first 4 years of my career, right? Because I was obviously in the oil and gas industry, kind of similar to what I did in school. Not even what I did in chemical engineering, funny enough. What I used on my job was what I learned in my master's, because my master's was something similar to what you guys are doing now inside also, where we had like professionals coming to teach us what was obtainable in the industry, as opposed to what they teach you, the theory and all of that in school, right? And that 1 year was what helped me like for the first 4 years of my career, right? And obviously what I'm doing now is what I learned from like my Coursera courses and all of that. So university, people tell you university will teach you how to learn, right? Not necessarily teaching you how to do the job you eventually get. So I would say like it's possible for you to find a way to like combine it, make out time in your day. Please do. Because I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. I'm sure later down the line you probably realize it. What you learn like from professionals that are teaching you like, oh, this is what to do in your data analytics, whatever, is what will probably help you more than the theory you learn in university. I'm not discounting university, obviously I have a degree, but definitely try to make out time. Yeah, you may have to sacrifice some things. Like I think then when I was on steroids, not on steroids literally, but when I was like trying to learn on my IBM data science course, when I said I was working, those 3 days, I'm not watching any TV series. It's just for my bed, so my Python code or my project, back to my bed most times, right? Yeah, and it's not going to be forever. It's just for a short period. So yeah, that's what I would say regarding that. Hope it helps.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Williams.
So
Okay.
Oluwabumi Ogunlana. Oluwabumi. Oluwabumi.
Okay, it seems she's not
Okay, so
here. Okay.
Abdullahi Yunusa.
Yeah. Good morning,
Uh,
Jessica. Yeah,
Hi, good
still
morning.
morning for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. uh, I I should have gathered my thoughts more. So yeah. So I just wanted like I'm taking the Google Data Analytics course right now. So
Mhm.
I'm on course 7. I'm on the R part now. And
Oh,
I heard when
nice.
you were like that. I heard when you were hitting on R. what I was just saying is that yeah, before me I started like okay, it was just this year, beginning of this year that I just like said okay that okay my New Year resolution, quote unquote, is that okay I'm going to data analytics that okay let me cover the roadmap and everything, all that kind of stuff. So I started checking YouTube channels and all these kind of things like okay how do you go about this? What do you need to learn? So yeah, what you already said about spreadsheets, SQL, visualization to Tableau, Power BI. Tableau or Power BI rather, and then possibly programming as an add-on eventually. So yeah. So yeah, just like February, like February 15th. Like so, what you said was that you didn't know that you could apply for financial aid. I guess me, cause like I said that New Year resolution. So that's from January 1 to like February 15th. All I was doing was research on how we're going to move forward. So yeah, I just did that first. So I knew that okay, that there's financial aid for this thing. So I said okay, Google Data Analyst
Nice.
certificate. So yeah, I applied for that. So February 15th, that's when I now started. So I'm still on it though. Although like last 1 month I've been, to be honest with myself, I know that I've been slacking off, but you know we're back on it now, Sha. So yeah, what I've noticed is
Nice.
that like the Google course now is it's really beginner friendly. That's just what I would say. It's really beginner friendly. It's so I don't want to say it's so simple, but like maybe it's subjective or something, but for me, Sha, I find it really easy. If you are focused on it, it's really easy. The R now, I've never done anything with programming here, and I said it on Twitter. Yeah, what you said about community being important is really good actually. Yeah, cause I said it on Twitter like a few days ago that I've been stuck. Not that I've been stuck, that I've been running away because I don't want to do the R course. That it looks complicated, so I've been running away from it.
Abdullah,
Yeah. I should come to your question
yeah,
here.
so yes, please.
I'm sorry. I think I just wanted to like just get our opinion on everything generally. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let me say it's an observation that if you say R, that at least with the Google course, they don't really go so deep into it. It's a foundational course, so everything that they're going to teach you, you can learn so much more. You'll be able to tell. They just give you a taste of everything. So like R now, I started working with it like 2 or 3 days ago, and to be honest, I've been hooked. I've just been finding it fascinating and all. And yeah, so I would say that if you're like a beginner with little experience, just take the Google course. Yeah, I would definitely recommend. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much,
It's very
Abdullah.
helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. I've been hearing like a lot of good feedback about the course. So yeah, I think it's good. R definitely. I think if you can only learn R, right, and you're comfortable with it, then if you want to switch to Python at any point, then it will be a lot easier because the Python syntax is way simpler and easier to understand. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can like take the
Okay,
next one.
Obasi. Okay, sorry. Obasi, Destiny. Destiny.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Jessica. I'm one of your big fans from Twitter, and yeah, yeah, and I'm also part of the DTS community. That's your data tech. Yeah, thank you so much. So I wanted to ask something. I wanted to ask something. Is there anything like replacing SQL with Python?
No, nope.
Okay,
What
okay,
do you mean
because
like replace? Like if you know SQL, you don't
um
need to learn Python, or is that what you
yeah,
mean?
like more like data analytics is like a low code and low code no code skill. So someone who doesn't want to really go into
Coding.
coding, yeah. So which one is better off? Yeah, because there's just this special feature I love about SQL. I just started my SQL journey on Thursday or Friday. So I had you can get data sets, your own data set. You can get your own data sets from the web or from a database, something like that. I don't know if I'm really putting it in the best way. Yeah. So, but I had there's this special feature, something that just attracts me to SQL. So that's why I want to learn it. But can Python also do the same thing, getting your data sets from a database instead of going through Kaggle, data.word, or some of those stuff?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I'll say SQL is important. SQL cannot replace Python, right? So your SQL is, I don't know, I just interchange the names. The same thing I'm saying. So for SQL, it's basically to obviously pull information or data from relational databases, right? Select whatever from your tables, and you have
Yeah.
your data set. So most of the time, what we do is, especially if you're not into data engineering, right, or if you have to work in Python, There's a
Yeah.
way to connect your SQL database to Python using Python, and that way you can see the data set. So if, for instance, I'm using Google BigQuery, yeah, if I'm using Google BigQuery, for instance, right, putting my data sets with SQL language, I can have like an API connector to Google BigQuery in Python, where I will still write my SQL code and then I see my data set. So if I'm working in pandas, for example, I see my data set
Mm.
on my tables rather in my Python script or in
Okay.
that notebook, right? So one doesn't replace the other. That's what I would say. Um, I also agree with you where people say data analytics is like a low code field, right? Because most of the time,
Yeah.
the basic code you need is your SQL, right? But SQL can get
Yeah.
really complicated depending on how many tables you have to query and what kind of information you need to pull. But definitely knowing SQL is basic comes before even starting to learn Python. I wanted to also say something. Yeah, if you can learn Python, good. In my current role, I'm a data analyst, but I still use Python because sometimes I don't know, maybe because I'm already used to using Python, right? And I learned it. And some things I would probably want to do that would take me a while to do in Excel to clean a data set.
Yeah.
I can easily do one line of code in Python. So
Yeah.
it comes in handy in that regard. Um, How want to say something? Give me a sec. But when you not talk of doing things around forecasting, prediction, some people
Yeah.
say it's for data science, but sometimes in more advanced data analytics role, like even in the role I am now, there's a bit that has to do with that forecasting, right? So it's a separate team that does
Okay.
it. So yeah, I would say don't close the door on it. Obviously, don't close the door on it. But obviously, if you're good with SQL, go for that. Don't close the door on don't close the door on
Python.
Python. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, sorry, the last question. Just minutes. Is there any um you shared the post sometime on data visualization? So I don't know, maybe I don't know if this was just for introduction to, if the meeting was just for introduction to data analytics, but is there any difference, is there any big difference? I've been seeing this, is there any big difference between dashboard and what's and data
Viz.
visualization?
Is
Yeah,
what we
and
call it
VIX.
Viz.
Yeah, VIX. Yeah. Then
Okay.
because I'm hoping to go into business and intelligence analytics later on. Yeah, because of the background I have. So I've been hearing dashboard is different from VIX and all of that. So is there any much difference?
Okay. Okay, so I think that Viz came from Tableau guys, right? So there are people
Yeah.
that are very good at designing. Like I've seen some, I call them dashboards, but I call the ones that not don't really look like dashboard Vizes.
Like the
Um,
ones that choose beautiful or something.
yeah, so there are people that like to design, like they're artists, I don't know, visual designers. Like if you go to Visual Cap or on Instagram, you see like a lot of nice visualizations. I can call those V's, right? Because they don't really come out as dashboards to me. So there's I don't know. I'll say those are for like people that like to design and do a lot of fancy stuff. To be honest, those kind of things you can't bring it to like the office setting and say you want to show like a finance manager to make a decision with that. But your dashboards that show like your bands are BANs are like big ass numbers, like your big text cards with summary, showing like, oh, this is sales, this is what changed, or this is our growth over the past week, that kind of thing. Those will
Yeah.
call them like dashboards or business intelligence dashboards, right? So yeah, I
Yeah.
just call those visits because there are people that like to do fancy stuff. But to be honest, except you're working in like maybe the sports industry or like industries that there are some companies that really like publish all these things, right? Maybe like for their year-end statements, they use stuff like those fancy stuff like the visits. So
Yeah.
that will come in useful there. But like for your everyday business decision making, like stuff I do day to day or week over week to see like our progress on stuff, is mostly dashboards that we give
Okay.
out to managers. Yeah.
Okay. So there's no harm in practicing and knowing your BI dashboards very well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All
Except
right.
you like
Thank you
to
so much, ma.
design, then you can start doing all that fancy stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you.
No, normal, please.
Hi, everyone. Please note that we have just 10 minutes to round up.
I
So
thought we have
make
less
your
than 10
question,
minutes.
in
Hello,
fact, less than
please.
10 minutes,
I have a
actually. So
question.
make your question. Fabian,
Bella,
please, please hold on, please. So
Hi, someone in a
We have
church.
less
What's
than 10
going on?
minutes. We have less than 10 minutes to round up, and then we are just going to take 2 more questions before we go. So,
Abiola, I sent
you're
you.
next on the queue. Yeah, there is a queue. So hold on, please. Let Egosa go.
Augusta has
Then you
dropped
can
his
now take
hand.
over.
Okay, Augusta, okay.
Oh,
Good, I'm here. Good
Augusta.
afternoon. I just because I was
After.
about to speak.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much. I initially had 4 questions, but I guess I'll just ask the most important one since we don't have time. Um, what are the best practices when it comes to working with somebody's data? Because that link you shared, that Twitter link, they are not your data. You didn't source them. So if we are to use that kind of data, what are we supposed to do that will make us still seem like credible people, that we are not misusing the information that is presented? Or even if you work with an organization's data directly, for example, like if you're an analyst at their organization and you want to add that to your portfolio, what is too much to add and what is too little to add, and how do you prove enough that you actually did the work without giving out too much information?
Nice question, Augusta. Okay. Oh, I was smiling. I can't remember. I was going to ask, are you a lawyer or something? That's my first question. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, there's no data that is really your own, to be honest, right? Secondly, those data sets are public data sets, right? So they're not confidential or company data set. So it's free to use. The only thing I said, I think I mentioned it on the post, is when you're using this data set, on the bottom of your dashboard where you put your footnotes, put the source and say this is where you got it from. So even for most of the work I do, trying to remember which one now. Okay, yeah, like my last dashboard was like one I did for a case study for an interview on the Brooklyn data set. So that had like number of accidents in the city of Brooklyn or something. That was from like the new, I think it was from Google Cloud platform, and then on there they had a lot of public data sets there where like the DMV in New York, they post like accidents and all of that happen in the year, different types, where it happened, stuff like that. So put the source underneath, right? You're not infringing on any copyright or whatever. The only time you have an issue is when you're now using data sets from a company, right? When you're using data sets from a company, maybe a company you worked, that's where you now start having issues, especially when the information or the data is confidential and can impact them if you publicize it, right? So that's one thing I would say. So for that, I don't advise people to take your company's data set. And so for instance, I can't take Sobeys data sets about their customers and use it for a personal project. I can't do that. So yeah, but I can go on Google or using the data sets I published and work with that for my projects. There's also one that I posted that is like reward fake data. So if you want to work on something in finance, call center analytics, HR analytics, supply chain analytics, that reward fake data has a lot of data sets across different industries, and you can use that for dashboards as well. So yeah, hope that helps.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Fabian, please make it short. Fabian.
Fabian. Okay, Fabian is gone. Anyone
Okay,
else?
so before anyone else goes, because I have personal questions too.
Okay.
Okay, so would you say from your journey, would you say there is a step-by-step guide to becoming a data analyst?
Yeah, there is, I would say. Of course. Well, yeah, I would try and put something out, but just to answer, I would say first of all, I think I haven't posted something. As I'm saying it now, it comes to my head again. Evaluate like your strengths, right? So if I use myself as an example, when I was coming
Okay.
into this field, I already knew some certain things, right? I knew how to use Excel to a good extent. I really probably didn't know how to use pivot tables so well. No, I could do pivot tables from, so yeah. But like things like Power Query, I really didn't know Power Query. I could use VBA because I use VBA for my master's project. But evaluate what you know first of all, and then know what you need to learn. So for instance, I say, okay, start with Excel. Excel, I think I told you already, I posted like different levels, right? Beginner, intermediate, advanced on DTS. Know the things you know how to do in Excel and know what you need to learn. So the first thing you need to learn is Excel. There are different courses for Excel. I can always say pick one. We even posted the ones for intermediate, advanced, and whatever on DTS. So that way you know at what level, what course you need to, or what YouTube channel you need to go and watch. And it's all free. It's not like you have to pay for anything. So Excel. Secondly, learn your SQL. As learn Excel, you can also work on projects in Excel. I've seen some really nice projects like dashboards that people have done in Excel. Awesome stuff. So we can do an Excel project. Secondly, your SQL is next. SQL has a lot of sites you can learn SQL, W3 schools, SQL bytes, mode SQL, blah blah blah. There are a lot of them. Just know the things you need to learn in SQL. Again, like I said, we've posted that as well for you to see. It's on the, just check the YouTube, the Instagram page for DTS, you see it there. Learn your SQL. Three after SQL is what now? Yeah. After SQL, now
Tableau,
go
Power
into
BI.
Tableau or Power BI, right? Any of the two is fine. Like I said, if you're in the Nigerian market, Power BI is best because a lot of companies use that there. Or if you want to learn Tableau, the reason I think I opted for Tableau was because I could publish on Tableau Public and then all my dashboards are in one place. Power BI can do the same thing, but obviously your dashboards, you would need to probably build a site that you put all the pictures of the dashboard and then a link to the Power BI dashboard. Then number 4 is optional if you want. But again, as I doing all these build projects in between, number 4 is optional, Python, because I'm not an R fan. You don't have to know everything in Python. If you can just do your basic pandas, pandas is like Excel, just that you're using code for it and it's not hard to learn. How to do basic data cleaning, do basic data visualization in Python, you should be good. And then you just learn. You can't learn everything, to be honest. That's one thing I would say. And all these skills, you don't have to learn them to advanced level. If you learn them to like intermediate level, you're good. And then what else? I think that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you're building projects in between, as when you're done learning, you have like a good number of projects that you can use to start applying for jobs. And that's what you need to do. And obviously as you get on the job, there are things you just learn as you go along, right? But I think with these
Yeah.
3/4 basic things, you're good to go. Yeah.
Okay. So, is there a specific way to build your portfolio?
Specific, not really. For me, I started mine with Medium, right? So because I like to write. So when I would do projects, I'll do a write-up, put visualizations in between the write-up, and then I also used to code, so I would do that. I'll put the link to GitHub. So I would say there's no specific way, but one thing I would say is since you're working on projects, you also obviously need like a place to host all this, right? So if you're
Yeah.
not big on writing and you don't want to have them on like all of them on your Medium page, you can just open like a one-page site. There's Disha pages, and then you have Google Sites. They're all free. So that way, if I work on maybe a project analysis of blah 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 in Excel, I can just put it on the website and put like a picture of like maybe what the dashboard or analysis that I did. And that way it's there. But if you like to write and you think you can, then have a medium, um, whatever, a medium page where you can have like all of this at in one place. But yeah, if you just feel like you just want to build dashboards and you don't and just put like short write-ups, just make a site, go to Google Sites, create like a one
Oh,
page site or dish out pages. That would help, and then you have your portfolio already. Yeah.
okay. So finally, I know you talked about CVs and all, but
Mm.
how do one optimize LinkedIn to, yeah.
Did I talk about LinkedIn? I probably did
No.
not. Sorry. But LinkedIn helped me a lot though. I need to say that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
LinkedIn helped me a lot. Like again, I was if I don't know if I was I'm a shy person. I'm not shy among my friends, but I'm shy. I used to be very shy, like coming to public spaces or even putting stuff I used to do out because I was like how people perceive what I'm doing. I'm someone that is afraid of. I'm not that I'm afraid of criticism, but I think I've come to embrace it. But I hate when there's something so obvious and then someone tells me, "Oh, this thing is wrong." Yeah, I don't like to be wrong, but sometimes I just have to accept that. So I used to be shy to post on LinkedIn. I can't remember what gingered me to start posting. But again, like I said, just start somewhere, to be honest. And then you just go from there. So I started posting on LinkedIn. I think what I did was my first project, I published it on like a Telegram group for people in Canada, right? Just a small group. And then people responded well. So that gave me like the ginger to go and post out there. Then I posted on, I think, LinkedIn. I just put like a if you see my picture, I just put the Medium link and left it there, right? I didn't really write anything about it. Then my next project, I I did a post on LinkedIn that people should go and read it, and people really liked it. So from there, I just kept on putting stuff on LinkedIn. One thing that LinkedIn did, and one thing I did before I started posting, right? If you're changing from a different field, you're going to data analytics, you should at least every day start connecting people that are in that same field or in companies you feel that you want to work. And I don't connect with just like the data analyst. I look for a manager of data analytics, VP of data analytics, director, blah 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 to connect with. Because what you're doing is as you connect with them, you're creating exposure for yourself and they can reach out to you. I had instances where I think it was two or three, no, three occasions. One from Scotiabank. Scotiabank is one of the top 5 banks here in Canada. The guy reached out and said he liked one of the projects I did. This was the manager of business analytics, I think, in the bank. And then he was asking me how did I do geocoding in Python for one of the projects. So I had to explain to him. And then he was like, oh, where am I working currently? Then I was still doing interviews. I just told him I was doing interviews and he was like, oh, he's going to connect me with someone in their data science team, blah, blah, blah. And I got an interview with that person. I think the role was a contract role, so I wasn't really interested. And then, like, after I got my next job, he reached out again and asked if I still wanted a permanent job, but then I had to decline because I already had a new one. So that was one. Two, I did an interview with LinkedIn last year. I got to the final stage, but then they told me I was not in US, so I could not get the job. Very annoying. But that one, I didn't apply to LinkedIn. I didn't even know I could even apply to LinkedIn. If the lady saw a dashboard I did about my LinkedIn profile, and she sent me a message saying, oh, she liked my work. Am I interested in working in their company? Before I couldn't respond, I saw my email and then I saw that she had referred me to the role because you can get someone's email address from their LinkedIn profile. I had not spoken to her before. I just connected with her, like just the same. I just sent random connection requests, right? So that's two. There's another story of someone in Apple, their engineering manager. That one sent me that she likes my NLP analysis. That I'm not interested in this role. So please, LinkedIn, and just use this tree, connect to people in the field, right? Try to connect with people that are like higher up, like their managers and co. So when they see your work, and LinkedIn has like this multiplier effect, same thing with Twitter, where when you post and someone likes it or comments, everybody in their connection, whatever, on their connection, whatever, sees it as well, right? So it's not just limited to just you and your followers or your connections on LinkedIn. So please use it well. In terms of optimizing your profile, put everything you need to put there. I know we need to close now. Maybe you can use my profile as an example. I don't think my profile now is an ideal example because I kind of removed some things and I just put like summaries for my roles. But when I was starting out and looking for a role, I put what do you call it? Give me a sec. I put whatever is on my resume, I put it on there on my LinkedIn, right? And there's some other things I want to say. I'll probably just do a post about it. But yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much the summary for LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you very much for your response and all. Mr. Emmanuel, please, over to you.
Thank you, Barrister Abiola. So let me just shock you, Jessica. Your you're my co-host today. She's a barrister and she
Oh
wants to
really?
translate
Oh
into data analysis.
cool.
So
That's
please
cool. That's cool.
talk to her. Tell her what she needs to do.
Because I was gonna ask, but there's no time because I'm
No,
a
no, she
lawyer
has
trying
to
to
say this.
transition into tech. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've been trying. I've learned my Excel. I've learned my SQL, Power
Nice.
BI,
So
and
you're good
then
to go
okay.
now.
But I feel like I'm not there yet. I'm
Don't
not
worry, I
confident.
felt
Let
the
me
same
just put
thing
it that
too,
way.
right? Don't worry, I felt the same thing too. I think like it's just about you putting yourself, revamp your resume, start sending out feelers for jobs. I think for me it was when I started doing interviews, that was when I realized that oh, what they're asking me, I can't even know more than what they're asking me, right? And one thing I always say, like with this interview you get and that you do, you kind of build up confidence for the next one, right? So some of the interviews I was doing, it was more like a preparation for me to do the next one, and from there it just went on. So times I'll now end up doing interviews. I don't have to prepare. I just answer from my head. So I'll say just put yourself out there. Like, to be honest, like if you have if you have like portfolio already, um, just revamp your resume to make sure that like if it's internships or like previous jobs that you had, you just make sure that some of the points you have on there are related to, how do I put it, are just put stuff around reporting or analytics, right? I don't say lie, but just put stuff around that. You see how I structured mine, like in that YouTube video I shared the link already. So that we just have it quantified. That would help a lot, because that way they see that, okay, this person is um thinking with numbers, right? Which is what like the role requires. And also put your projects on there as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Abiola.
Right.
Thank you, everyone that's joined this call. Wow, but I will not end this call except I ask my own question. All
Okay.
right, so Jessica, how do you unwind? Because you wear many hats, author, no, not author yet. Very soon you'll be an author, you're in the analytics
Uh,
space. How do you do that?
how? Hey. How do I do it? I don't know. That's how I'm always praying, asking people to pray for me. I want people to pray for me, but I don't know. I don't know if people can see my board here. I have like a. I don't know if I can show you. I have like a board. Like you
Okay,
can see, right? On that board,
yeah,
I have like all the things I need to do, like for this week, for instance. And
voila.
every time I wake up, I look at the board. And it kind of just directs me that, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Obviously it's not I won't lie, it's not everything I get done when I want to, right? So like today after now, I have two things on my mind. The other things pressing, but like two things. So prioritizing helps me a lot. Two things: the outline for my book, to finish it, and then another startup that I'm consulting with, where I have to like do like a strategy doc for them and stuff. So I don't know. It's not easy, to be honest, but I think different things or other things I've done up onto this point, right, has prepared me like for what's coming. In the sense that like in my previous roles, I was almost always working around the clock, to be honest. It's not ideal.
Wow.
You have to rest. I still find time to rest. But I would say like it prepared me like for what's happening now. Right. Even at work this week, I had to do like the job of like 3 people. So I was probably sleeping like maybe 4 hours in the night, right? But yeah, I'm not saying be like me, oh, please. I don't, yeah, but I think for me, what helps me is being able to prioritize. And I'm already like used to this, right? This sense of my brain always being on steroids in quotes, having to like, for me, if I'm not thinking of something or I'm not doing something when I'm awake, it's hard for me to just sit down and just be looking, to be honest. If even if I'm watching a movie, I'm probably watching a movie and I'm on Twitter trying to reply to people or like responding to LinkedIn messages and all of that. Yeah. I still find time to unwind. I think sometimes when people invite me out, I go out. Well, I'm not accepting any invitations to go outside at least for the next few months because of the stuff I have to do. But yeah.
All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you once again
worries.
for your time.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you so much.
All
Yeah, I
right.
don't have much
Thanks
to say
everyone.
anymore.
If you have more
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be in
questions,
your
you can.
DM.
Okay,
I'm
no
just
problem.
I'm just extending another invite to Jessica sometime in the future. I don't know when.
Okay.
Before I jumped in on this call this morning, I was having a pair program with one of my colleagues who
Okay.
lives in Kenya. So, and then he was just taking me through what he's doing because he works for us, then works for another organization, still there in
Okay.
Kenya, how they are using data analytics in agriculture. So they are
Oh,
looking
nice.
at how to predict yields. And then I've already told him that, hey, man, I'm
Oh,
bringing him
nice.
next. So he's going to come very soon. I don't know yet. He's going to come and then teach us how he's doing that because the beautiful part of it is that
Oh,
he's
wow.
building this thing from scratch with a team. All right. Then we'll also have Jessica one also in the future. She's going to take us through something around the
Definitely.
e-commerce piece. Maybe she'll just do a demo
Definitely.
for
No
us.
worries. Just let me know,
Yeah.
like, well in advance.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
All right.
This time around, I promise you 2 months
All
advance.
right. No worries.
All
Guys,
right.
All
Thanks
right.
so much,
yeah.
Jessica. Thank you
Bye.
so, so much. On behalf of Side
Bye.
Hustle team,
All
we say a
right.
very big thank you. Thank you so much. You've been really, really impacted this morning.
All right.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank
Thank
God.
you.
All right.
All right. Have
Bye.
a very beautiful week ahead. Okay, weekend. Yeah.
Weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.